Going into the second half of the Individual Quadrilla Marble League in Season 3, after a short break, we are back with block pushing, an event that usually is in the qualifiers and an event that we see how the marbles do before the season, but this time it wasn't. The event stays the same as it was in the previous edition, where two lanes, marbles will go and try to push the block as far as possible. Now, Bluetail retook the championship lead after the quadrilla race, but only by 1 point over Java, Venom in third, Seabed, and Ecto rounding out the top 5. Now, in Heat 1, Bluetail and Muddy. Of course, these two are facing each other, but it's about their scores across the board. And they get 2 runs, where it's the sum of the distances from the 2 runs. Now, Bluetail and Muddy, championship leader and championship 16th. But I think Muddy gets a slight edge over Bluetail, and they need it desperately. Muddy, surprisingly, has had a terrible time in the Individual Quadrilla Marble League, despite being the marble that, frankly, has the best stats in all of the marbles in the Team Quadrilla Marble League. Now, Java and Candy Corn. Now, we saw Bluetail and Muddy. Bluetail did not have a good distance, but they can make it up in run number 2. Java and Candy Corn. Championship number 2 and championship 15, no, number 15. But once again, the one on the bottom lane, Candy Corn, gets the edge over Java. This time, slightly closer though, and both better than Bluetail and Muddy. That's 8.8 centimeters for Candy Corn, 8.5 for Java. So those two go into first and second thus far. Now, Venom and Blizzard. Venom being one of the biggest surprises in a positive way in this season so far. Blizzard, not much of a surprise down there in the order, but they did get a medal in the last event, and they do much better than Venom. Well, maybe it's block pushing, testing a different skill, or maybe it's a bit of a lane bias with the lane on the bottom being slightly easier to score in. Well, it doesn't matter too much because every marble is going to get one go on either of the lanes. So, it's no unfair advantage to any marbles here. Now, Seabed and Sandstorm in the 4th heat of round 1, and I think this time, for the first time, we are going to be seeing a marble on the top lane do better, but just barely, just by 0.5 of a centimeter, half a centimeter. That is, Seabed goes into 4th, and Sandstorm just 1 down into 5th. So after the first half of round 1, it is Candy Corn in the lead, then Blizzard, and then Bluetail down in last, surprisingly. Now, Ecto and Gloom. Gloom, of course, won this event in Season 2 and has the record, has been struggling much relative to their Season 2 performance. But Gloom, not struggling in block pushing here. That was a phenomenal push from the defending champion and the defending gold medalist in block pushing. 9.1 centimeters. First marble to break 9 centimeters and goes into first pretty comfortably. Ecto down in the order. Now, Mystic Orb and Denim. Denim, also probably the second best marble in the Individual Quadrilla Marble League at block pushing, got 2nd place in last season. Oh, Mystic Orb got to the blocks first, but I think Denim had a slightly better push. We'll have to see who did better. Actually, it's going to be very close between them, and Denim will get slight edge. 7.9 centimeters, 7.5. Yeah, it's not about whether you reach the blocks first, it's about how hard and how straight you can push it. Now, Tarzan and Rainforest. These two, Tarzan, actually Rainforest didn't do block pushing last season because they didn't qualify, but that was a great push. Tarzan has been okay in block pushing before. No match for Rainforest here. 9.4 centimeters, a full centimeter ahead of Tarzan. Tarzan, decent run, but Rainforest beats Gloom's run. That is not something you hear a lot in block pushing. Now, Void and Shamrock in the last round, in the last heat of the first round. Void, of course, the gold medalist in quadrilla racing, a thrilling event. Shamrock, our host of the season, but Void on the top lane, I think, was slightly better. I think they were actually, no, they're giving it to Shamrock. Shamrock with 8.3 to Void 7.6. So, Rainforest has the best score after round 1. That's Gloom, Candycorn, Blizzard, Java, down to Bluetail in 16th, the championship leader. Well, they have round 2 to make up for it. Muddy and Bluetail, these two, both of them didn't do good in round 1, so since it's the sum of 2 runs, they really need to make up for it here in order to save their run in this event. Now, Muddy gets to the blocks first, but does it beat Bluetail? I don't think so. It was very close once again between these two, but I don't think either of the runs were too great. No, Bluetail only an 8.4. That is good improvement, but still, that would be an only mid-pack in round 1. Muddy, just an 8.2. Now, Candycorn and Java. Candycorn and Java, up there in round 1 of the runs. Can they sustain it here? Candycorn has had pretty poor time. Not as bad as Muddy. Well, no one has been as bad as Muddy, but Candycorn has still struggled. But Candycorn goes into first thus far, but this is just first among the runs in round 2, 8.6 centimeters. That is better than Bluetail and Muddy. But Java isn't better than any of them. Now, Blizzard and Venom. So we're going to rank them based on how they do in round 2. And then we'll see what the total scores look like now. Blizzard and Venom. Venom, much better run this time around. Venom, I think, struggled. They were in 15th place in round 1. Blizzard was not as bad, but Blizzard struggles here more. Venom, much better run in round 2. Heat 11, 8.3 centimeters compared to 7.9 for Blizzard. Now, Sandstorm and Seabed. These two were one of the closest pairings in the first round. How will they do here? These two both, I think, are pretty good block pushers based on past performance, but I think Seabed gets the slight edge. It's hard to tell. I've seen in past runs where it's looking like it's one way, but it's actually the other, but Seabed does get the edge by 1/10 of a centimeter. So looking at the standings for just round 2, at the halfway point, it is Candycorn in the lead, Bluetail, nice recovery into second, then it's Venom. Now, Gloom and Ecto, Gloom, all eyes on them to see if they can retake that top spot. They were taken from Rainforest, but they were still holding in second after round 1. And what can Ecto do? So, didn't do great in their first push. I think Ecto improves, not so much for Gloom though. How will it be? It will be 1/10 of a centimeter better for Gloom than Ecto in this round, but it's only good enough for 7th in this round for Gloom. Of course, Ecto, that's even worse. That's tied for 8th. Now, Denim and Mystic Orb. With Gloom almost out of the running for the top spot in this event, can Denim capitalize? Denim does capitalize. That was a great push. On the top lane, too. Not the lane that we've been seeing most of the good pushes from. And 9.5 centimeters, that is the best run of the day, and they go into first for at least this round. We'll have to see if it's the whole event. Now, Rainforest, what do they have to respond to it? Rainforest had the 9.4, Denim just beat it with a 9.5, so Rainforest just needs to at least do 1/10 of a centimeter worse than what Denim did in their worst run, but I don't know if this will be enough. Rainforest and Tarzan. Rainforest slots into 4th for this round, 8.5. That's pretty respectable. That could put them in a good position. Tarzan, though, goes 2nd out of all of the marbles in round 2. Now in the final heat, Shamrock and Void. The host and the gold medalist in the last event, who will stamp their authority here amongst the two of them, perhaps make the late lunch. Shamrock, a good run for them to close out the event. And does it mean anything? Will it challenge for the podium? We'll have to see. 9.3 centimeters, that came out of nowhere, and that is second best in this round. So Denim, by 2/10 of a centimeter, gets the best run in round 2, then it's Shamrock and Tarzan. But looking at the overall results, when we add them up, Rainforest wins gold in block pushing. Shamrock gets 2nd because of that round 2 score. Denim in 3rd. Gloom falls out of the podium. But Rainforest, their first gold, first medal of this season, and because they didn't qualify last season, that's their first medal since Season 1. Rainforest has never stood atop the podium, Shamrock in second, getting their second medal and their best result of the season, and Denim getting their second medal as well after a gold medal in skiing. But Java, because Bluetail got last place, Java retakes the championship lead. Bluetail falls to second, but still only 6 points behind. Rainforest jumps 7 spots into third. Then it's Shamrock, the host, rising 5 into fourth. Seabed, Venom, Tarzan, and Ecto, who drops to eighth, just barely in the top half. Meanwhile, on the other end, Candy Corn and Blizzard in a close battle for 14th, while Muddy is 26 points off 15th. That is rather saddening to see. But the next event will be the biathlon, and then after that, hurdles in the Individual Quadrilla Marble League. Stay tuned.